Hello, this is the course of data mining, and in this video I would like to teach you about data. I will turn on the full screen of this PPT, and we are going to learn about the basic data. Of course, if you will learn about the data mining, you need to know what kind of data that you have and what is the data type and etc. So first, we are going to learn about the type of the data set. Okay? So first, we are having various kind of data that we have, and sorry. First, we can see the data in terms of record. Okay? And the other type of data, maybe we can see some kind of graph network. The other kind of data are ordered, and other kind of data are spatial, image, and multimedia. Okay. In the record, I think this is the most common data type. Okay, or I mean the data set. So the record contains of relational records and document data and transaction data. So you can see table can be represented as the relational records. So in the relational records, we have the column. Yeah, so this is the column, or in some other literatures, they mention it as attribute, or maybe some other literatures mention it as field, attribute, column, variable, dimension. Okay, so this kind of definition actually, yeah, we can also say it is a feature. Okay, so this kind of definition depends on the type that you want to do. For example, if it is in the database, then some books they mention as field. If it is in the data mining, some people mention it as a variable or attribute or feature. Okay. If you take a look on the row wise, so the row wise here we call it as a row, or this is one record, or it can be also called as a tuple, or it can be also regarded as one instance, or it is one data object, or some other literatures mention it as one sample. Okay, so depending also on the type of analysis you want to do, people can say it in the different terminology. Okay. With the document data, okay, if we have the document data, actually we are having like this. So we have document. Okay. So in document, we can have a lot of terms. For example, the terms team, coach, okay, play, ball, score, game, win, loss, timeout, season. Okay. And we want to know how many terms appear in that document. Let's say 3. It means there are 3 words of team in the document 1. And there are 0 of coach. There are 5 words of play in document 1, and etc. So we calculate the frequency, and we will have the term frequency factor. Okay. The other kind of data in the type of record, it can be regarded as the transaction data. Okay. So this transaction data is also one of the type of data that we can analyze later. Okay. So for example, this one is the bread, gold, milk. Okay. So this is one invoice. Okay. In one invoice, if you go to supermarket, you can see that there will be a list of items. So if you buy bread, coke, and milk, if you buy, maybe other person will have another invoice with beer and bread, and etc. So those kind of record are the most common data set. And of course, you can also use the other kind of data set like graph and network, WWW, social information network, or you can use video data, temporal data, sequential data, genetic sequence data. Yep. Now we will check more data set about those stuff. Okay. And before we go to the data set, we need to understand the basic understanding. Okay. The basic understanding here means we are going to know about the data object. So data sets are made of data objects. So the data object means the entity. You need to understand what are the entity. For example, sales database. So in the sales database, we have the entity like customers. Okay? We have the entity like store items. We have the entity as sales. In the medical database, we have the entities patients, treatments. Okay, so entity means represent something, represent person. Okay, represent, you a thing that we can define with the attribute. We can define with the field. University database. We have the entity students, professors, courses, and this data object can be regarded as samples, examples, instance, data points, objects, tuples. Okay, so we already saw on the previous slide. And I think it will be good if we just say as attributes for now. Okay, data objects are described by attributes. And remember that the database, we have the data object as the rows and the columns are attributes. Okay. So when we have the attribute, what is the exact definition? Yeah, as I mentioned to you, there are many terminologies. Okay? The terminologies of the attribute can be dimension, features of variables, and yeah, it it is a data field to represent the characteristic or feature of data object. Let's say if we have customer ID or its name or it is address. The attribute types I can categorize into two. Okay? The first is the categorical. Okay? And the other is continuous. So categorical, continuous. Okay, there are two. And in the categorical, we will learn about the ordinal, nominal, binary, and for the continuous or numerical, we will learn about the interval and ratio. So we can see the first type of data is the categorical attributes. Now, what is categorical attributes? It is a kind of attribute that take on a small set of possible values. Small set of possible values. Let's say I know about gender. So gender most probably is only, two possible values, right? Male, female. Unless if you, yeah, in some countries they, if you are a subject for interview, and then there is a question about gender, some kind of questionnaires they put other or like unknown, because it is a privacy issue. They don't want to share their identity, for example. And religion. So there's a small set of possible values like Christians, Buddhists, Islam. Method of treatment, outpatient, inpatient. So those kind of things can be regarded as categorical. The type of this attribute, we call it as qualitative, or sometimes we call it discrete or qualitative variables. So information that can be sorted into categories. So we call it this the categorical attribute. So the categories can be like small, medium, large, or single, merit, force. What kind of type teaching approach? Yeah, we can say online, offline, blended learning. Okay. What is the native language? For example, English, Korean, Indonesian. Okay. What is your job? Okay. Teacher, professor. housewife. So those kind of things are categorical. And there are three: categorical, ordinal, nominal, binary, or dichotomous. So we will learn those things. The other data types is continuous. So the continuous is always numerical or quantitative. It can be number, okay? It can be positive or negative. And examples are the eights, or let's say this one. Let's see the column here. So the head means something related with numbers: 167, 155, 149, 169, 181. The weight is also numbers. Income is number. Speed, yeah, you know, if you have the units kilometer per hour, okay, so it's car speed. The temperature, yeah, temperature can be minus, okay, if it is Celsius. And age is the human age start from 0 until the positive number, any positive number. And the income tax, blood pressure, yeah, those things are numbers, okay. And there will be two types of continuous attributes. The first is interval and the other is ratio. Let's see one by one. So the ordinal attribute means this is a type of the categorical attributes. We have the ordinal if we have the data with some intrinsic order or numerical value. Okay, for example, education. If you have your education, no high school degree. High school, you know, right? High school is the 고등학교. So high school degree, some college and college degree. So in this case, the education type is an order from the high school. Yeah, if you don't have any high school degree, okay, you're the lowest one. If you have the college degree, then you're the highest one. Agreement. This is also an order. Okay? Order. 순서. Okay. Strongly disagree, neutral, agree, strongly agree. What about the rating? Okay. In some kind of online store, they use number like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, but in some other uh, website or tools or media, they use excellent, good, fair, poor. So we can distinguish which one is better and which one is the lesser. Frequency. So if we are doing with the number, we can easily see the numbers. But sometimes we can make it as a categorical. For example, the frequency is never, sometimes, often, always. Or we can make any scale, like 1 until 5. Okay? So in order to know, we have the order. However, nominal is without intrinsic order. So no order. For example, city in Korea, Seoul, Busan, Daegu. Of course, there will be no sequence, right? Yeah, if you know that Seoul is the capital, Busan is the next biggest city, but of course, there is no order. It's just our mind to determine that Seoul is the first and Busan is the second. Sex, okay, or gender, male and female. No order, actually. Male come first, no. Female come first, no. Okay, so there is no first, or there is no order. And nationality, yeah, there's no difference. American, Mexican, French, Korean. The favorite pet, also there is no difference. Okay? Blood type, of course, it is also has no difference. So if it is a categorical without any order, then we call it is nominal. There's another kind of attribute, we call it binary. Okay? So in the binary, or sometimes they call it as dichotomous. Okay? Dichotomous. Binary. So this binary attribute is a categorical attribute with only two levels. Two level means we have only two. For example, yes, no. Okay, so in the yes, no is only two. The first is yes, the second is no. We have two types. Okay, the first is the symmetric, and the second is asymmetric. So what is the difference? So in symmetric binary, the both outcomes equally important. Let's say gender, male, female. Yeah, there's no difference. Those two are important. Asymmetric binary, the outcomes not equally important. Okay, let's say the medical test. So if you do the medical test, yeah, you want to have positive or negative. Okay, of course, yeah, it depends on the disease. Let's say if in the COVID-19, yeah, you want to have negative, but in the perspective of medical doctor, they want to know if you're positive or not. Because the medical test, positive is more important because you will get treatment after you know that you're positive with COVID. But negative, yeah, is not that important. Maybe this is important for the patient. Yeah. So the convention is one is the most important outcome. So for example, HIV positive. Okay, so you can say HIV positive, but they don't care if the HIV is negative. Okay. And yeah, we can say like sex, like male, female, and then you want to attend party? Yes, no. Okay. Join conference? Yes, no. Okay. Medical test, positive, negative. So those kind of things can be regarded as the binary. Interval. So what is interval? Interval is like ordinal, except we can say that the intervals between each value are equally split. Yeah, what is that mean? This one. We can say that the measure on a scale, it can be an equal size unit. So for example, this one. The difference between 20 and 21 degrees Celsius is the same with the difference between 35 and 35. So if it is equal in the difference between the two numbers, then yeah, we call this is the interval data. In the temperature, we can see in the term of Celsius or Fahrenheit, okay, so they have this same equal unit for every cap. Calendar dates, okay, this also one of the interval data. The most important keyword is the no true 0 point. You know, Celsius can be negative, okay? And Fahrenheit can be also negative. Okay? So there's no true 0 point for the interval attribute. But for the ratio, okay, the ratio is interval data with natural 0 point. So there is inherent 0 point. It means you need to know where is the 0 one. Okay? For example, we call Kelvin. Do you know Kelvin? So there is a measure for the temperature. We call it Kelvin, and this Kelvin is starting from 0. Okay, so the 0 is the basic. So the 0 point is the basis, and then yeah, the remaining, yeah, we don't know what is the maximum for the Kelvin one. Length, yeah, length also same. We have the first order default is 0, and then we have the positive number of length. There is no negative number. The other thing is about age. So age is also a ratio data because it starts from 0. There will be no minus for age. Monetary quantities. So yeah, you will have positive number of money. You will not have negative, except that it is about the debt. Okay. Okay. I think that's all that we want to learn from the first PPT. So how many attributes type that you learn? There are 2. Okay. Yeah, so this kind of course-based quiz is like you need to check your understanding about the data. Now, especially this is the chapter about data, and the other PPT might be related to some other statistics or visualization. Then, yeah, I will give you something like this one, and you need to check whether you already understand the concepts or not. Yeah, can you know the difference between the categorical data and continuous data? Okay. Yeah, The categorical is about the qualitative, so it is discrete, and continuous data is about the numerical data. What is the difference among ordinal, nominal, binary? Ordinal means order. There is an intrinsic order. Nominal, no order, okay, just a categorical. And binary, it contains of two, yes, no, or 0 and 1. What is the difference between interval and ratio? Okay, so you know the ratio, it has the 0 point, but the interval, there is no 0 point. And the other thing is the interval have the equal size unit, but ratio has no it. Okay, so let's see if I hope that you already have your orange data mining. Okay, let's see the orange data mining stuff. Okay, yeah, I already opened the orange data mining. Okay, and you can see the first environment of this orange. When you turn on your orange, it will show welcome to orange. And yeah, there is an option like new, open, recent, video tutorial, so you can check on the video tutorial for the first time, get started, examples, and documentation. For the first, I think I will just, I want to explain about this orange, and I hope that you already have this orange, and I will not go to the very detail of this data. So you can just have the file and the data table. Okay, you can see file and data table. So for the file, you can double click. Okay, and yeah, you can see there are many things here in the panel. So I will use the iris.tab. Okay. So this is iris dataset. So the iris dataset is one of the famous dataset in order to learn data mining. Okay, and there is iris.tab is the file format. The .tab is the file format, and you can see here in the first time of orange, you will always see the data type. In this case, the sepal length is the name, and the type is n is numerical. Okay, the role is feature. So you know the column. Okay, so it's the feature or the attribute. Sepal width also numerical as a feature. Petal length is also numerical as a feature, and petal width is also a numerical as a feature. However, the iris, yeah, the name iris is a categorical, and the role is the target. Okay. Now, if I want to check this one, this table, how can I check this table? So put your you put your mouse in this line, and then you can go to the other widget. We call this as widget, and yeah, you can connect this one. So after you connect this is the data table. Okay, so this is the data table from here, and then you can double click, and in this table you will see your data set. So the data set contains of 5 columns. Okay, iris, sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width, and each row represent one object. So this is the iris setosa, and the length is 5.1, and the width is 3.5, the length is 1.4, and petal width is 0.2. Okay, so yeah, we can have many other options. Okay, so there are many options in this data, and then yeah, you can have the like, yeah, visualize, model, evaluate, and unsupervised. So we will learn one by one. And as I mentioned to you, there are many limitations with this Ordinal, but it's a good tool for you to learn data mining at the first time. Okay, so I guess I will stop the video here. So thank you very much for listening, and see you on the other video. Bye bye.